Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Oh, okay. Tracking went wild there to start out this stream. We may have some tracking oddities with extra people in the room, so we'll just have to deal with that. But first of all, thank you, Asinka, for the raid. Appreciate that. Hope you had a good stream. You guys playing some more Diablo, I take it. Good to see all you guys in here. Corin, Silex, Dragran. I know he stepped away. Pew Pew, thank you for the resub. Is it really time for you to resub again? I swear, every time you resub, it feels like it was literally yesterday. But thanks for the resub for 21 months. Jaximus, good to see you taking a little time away from your bun boy. Colleen, the daughter of Bismarck, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I know. That's what I'm saying, Pew. It's like, didn't you just resub? I swear you did. I don't know how you keep ending up like resubbing. I don't think it's supposed to be possible. Evie, good to see you as well. How's everybody doing today? Of course, today is going to be the AMA with the parents that we hit the goal for on the anniversary stream. We were going to do that night, but we ended up having to cancel, as you guys already know. So we're finally getting that going.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Jake with the 5 gifted subs.
Just gifted 5 subs.
Showing the love already. Hey, nobody got one. He was a fun guy. Hopefully he'll come back.
No.
Of course, Corin's here.
No.
Thank you, Corin. Thank you, Corin. Nakamar, good to see you as well, sir. Hope you've been doing well. Hey, J-Bomb. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Cold drinks are in the fridge. You know the routine, J-Bomb. I got derailed off what my thought was with all that happening all of a sudden. Oh, I remember. I don't have a set time for how long we're going to do it. You know, I'm thinking at least like 2 or 3 hours, but you know, it really kind of depends on how many questions people have and how we get rolling and stuff like that. As far as what we do after, I'm not 100% sure either. I didn't feel very good yesterday. We canceled yesterday's stream, and I spent the better part of the last 24 hours mostly in bed, save for a few hours I got up and sat at the computer just to, you know, give my body a break from bed. So today I do feel a bit better, especially after getting up and going into town and getting something for dinner and kind of moving around a little bit. So I'm hoping to do the full stream, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing after, because honestly I didn't really know how I was going to feel. So we'll just kind of wing it. Maybe we'll jump on some Final Fantasy. Maybe we'll jump on some Battlefield. I don't know what. You know, we'll figure it out depending on how long everything takes. So that'll pretty much just be how it goes. But for the main part of today, it's going to be hanging out with the parents and letting you guys get to know them. So, you know, let's not waste a bunch of time with me talking and let them kind of come in here and let me know when they start talking if you guys have any issues hearing them, if you know I need to move the mic closer or anything like that. This is obviously going to be the first time we've done anything quite like this. So I'm hoping everything is going to, you know, proceed relatively smoothly, but do let me know. We'll be looking for the feedback on that. So without further ado, here are the parents.
Hi.
Hey. We have a dry run for our podcast.
Yeah. Could be.
Could be.
I don't know if you guys can see the chat over here very well.
We cannot see.
Well, we could probably pop it out like this. Oh,
Way too small.
darn it.
You gotta put that on old man font, yo.
I said to pop it out and they put it back in.
I don't think that made the font any bigger.
Hold on. Give me a minute. Is that better?
And you're gonna put it on old man font.
Not old man font enough. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, okay, that's better.
All right, I can make it bigger.
Don't mind.
Okay. Still not.
Okay, that'll do. Can you read it?
No, but you'll tell me.
Okay.
There we go. I mean that's got to be big enough. Are you good? All right. Jake said he needs 40-point font too. It's fine.
Yeah. It old sucks. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, he's only 24, so.
You have so much fun to look forward to.
We'll downsize everything again later. It's fine. All right. Well, feel free to launch into questions whenever you guys want to. I don't know if there's anything, like, say you guys specifically wanted to talk about to start out either. You know, like I say, it's just kind of open format here.
What do you want us to do? Do you want us to tell stories on you? Because we can do that.
I mean, if you want to. I mean, I don't hide anything from the chat, really. I've told them most everything that seemed, you know, relevant to talk about at the time.
We all want baby Rev stories.
Jake says he wants first question. All right, Jake, hit us with the starting question. First time Rev peed off the diaper? Off the diaper?
Didn't wear diaper.
Yeah, we when he was a baby, we lived out in the country. We had about 3.5 acres of cleared yard surrounded by 25,000 acres of forest. I would just take him outside in the summertime with just naked and let him walk around, run around the yard. And when he got a little piss hard on, I'd call him over and say, "Hey, this is what we got to do now," you know. And being able to see when he was going to pee, we just run him into the toilet and we'd play swords. Put a piece of toilet paper in the thing and aim at that. That's how we taught him. He learned real quick. He always was a quick learner.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys wanted to know? That I ran around naked most of my youth?
You did.
We tried to raise him a good naturist.
I've heard that story before.
Yeah. You should think you remember it. Else told me about good old
peed at
pizza
Six
days you
Flags
guys
in the
have
middle of the
had.
playground,
I wanna know
remember?
the perfect pizza ingredients for your
Yes, we
favorite pizza, assuming it's flat crust too. When we had the restaurant, we did not make we didn't make the crispy crust St. Louis kind. We made hand-tossed New York pizza, 18 inches. And we homemade all our dough and all our sauce and all our ingredients were fresh and everything. And that's really the important thing, is you got to have fresh ingredients. No sugar. We didn't put sugar in anything. We didn't put it in the dough. We didn't put it in the sauce. So we always like to be able to taste the tomatoes and all the spices, and the sugar overcomes everything when you put it in. So that's how we work.
That was one of my favorite memories, really, as a kid, was going to Di Gregorio's and getting that hunk of pepperoni right off the...
There was a sandwich. It was a CW special, and his name is Charles William.
Open
So,
hot roast
yep,
beef
it was an
sandwich.
open-faced hot roast beef sandwich with with mozzarella cheese melted on it.
Oh,
Yes, there was a dish named after the Rev.
CW?
Yep.
It was one of the most popular ones.
Yeah. it was open
Yep, he
roast
sold a
beef
bunch
sandwich.
of them. It was his grandpa's favorite sandwich. When my dad would come to the restaurant for lunch, he would always have that.
My dad still makes them to this day, and they're still
Really
excellent.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't made that in a while. Well,
Yeah.
they asked for that one.
But yeah, we had him stretching dough when he was 3-4 years old. Bring him up to the restaurant and put him at the table and give him a piece of dough and let him make his own pizza.
Raiding the freezer for pepperoni all the time.
Yeah.
I probably ate more pepperoni in my childhood than most people in their whole lives. A
Yeah, you do. And a lot of
lot. Corin is from actual Italy.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Me too. Eat.
I'm jealous.
He's a cooking some bitch. He's always in here talking about some. Oh, I just made something simple today, and it sounds fancy as shit. You're like, fuck off. I joke that if we ever make a streamer house, we're bringing Corin over to be the chef.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he could do some cooking
tiramisu
streams.
tonight. Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, he just casually makes tiramisu. You know, no big deal.
That's high dollar.
Yeah.
That's Mom's program. She's the baker. I'm a cook, but Mom's a baker. She can make all that stuff. She's very fancy pants in the baking department. Of course, she's also quite shy. She doesn't speak much. Not when there's a microphone around, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, she was starting to tell a story about Six Flags.
But Charles peed in the middle of Six Flags?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Since we're talking about pee.
Because you taught him to pee outside all the time?
It's true. He was used to peeing outside. So, middle of Six Flags, he dropped trout. Let go.
Yeah.
It was great.
In the kiddie playland.
Yep, in the middle of Kitty Playland. Somewhat later, he punched Sylvester the cat in the nose, knocked him over.
That was your guys' fault.
Yeah.
It's okay, man. We just had you going. Well, that'd be a good subject for a podcast. We could talk pizza. We could sit here for hours and talk pizza.
Yeah.
Reverend Mom, Rose, favorite family memory that you don't mind sharing.
Sylvester got in my face, man.
Favorite family memory, Mom.
Nanny.
Man, just one?
Yeah.
I don't even know where to guess, really.
We went to that family reunion in Chattanooga years ago, remember?
That was fun.
That was a very fun weekend.
It was a good time, man. You all went White River riding and stuff, all kind of stuff, and all the cabinets going from place
The
to
whole
place.
family was there.
Yep.
That was probably the most active weekend of my life, man. We didn't sit down for hardly a minute.
Yeah, you and Kenneth were gone. We didn't see you at all. So,
We were everywhere.
yeah.
Yo, what up, Kupo? Play the Kupo song. I think that played. Oh, we get the Kupo redeem.
Happy Easter memory. Charles finally came in.
Say, my what?
Yeah, after 3 days of labor, Mom's favorite memory is when it was over.
Oh yeah.
That was.
I don't know if I talked about that on stream, but I was talking to somebody about it because we were talking about terrible birth stuff, and I was like, yeah, it took me 3 days. I've heard it many times.
3 days.
Full 3 minutes to the screen.
3 days of labor. I've heard it many times.
It was awful.
Yeah, those were the days, man. Boy, we had just opened the first restaurant. She was just busting out pregnant. And tomato sauce made her ankles swell.
Yes, I
Of
can
course,
have any.
you know, we're in the middle of a pizza restaurant. We're eating pizza 3 meals a day, 7 days a week.
I can have any.
Man, and as I say, she was busting out pregnant. I literally had to carry her from the car into the counter and sit her down at the counter so she could work the cashier. When we were done, I'd pick her up and take her back to the car and drive her home, carry her in. Her ankles were so swollen, her feet hurt so bad she couldn't walk.
I couldn't get my shoes on.
She had a lot of fun with me, as you can tell.
It was.
I'm sure none of you can. I'm sure none of you could imagine me being that kind of a problem.
He was a good boy, though. He was loads of fun.
He's a good.
Rev plop next to the Provel. I mean, it's hard to get me away from Provel even now.
I know, huh?
I like.
It's a shame most people out there have no idea what Provel is, because you can only really get it here. It's proliferated out a little bit more into the rest of the world in the last like 5 or 10 years, but
Well, they used to call it White American when I worked at Kroger.
Yeah.
they did have White American there, which I don't know if it was 100% the same, but it was very similar.
No, don't mistake me, Pew.
Mm-mm.
He's pulled some whoppers. I mean, man, just
Skipping school for 3 months.
just to skip in
3
school
months.
for months at a time.
Months.
He skipped school for so long that they took him off the rolls. We didn't know he was not going to school. We thought he was going to school every day, as far as we knew. And then we called the school one day for something. He hadn't got a report card. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's where he got it.
His report card was way overdue. And finally, I called the school. I said, where's the kid's report card? What? Well, you don't go to school here. He hadn't been here in so long. We took him off the rolls. Come to find out that, his bus came like 5 minutes after we left for work in the morning, and it would have dropped him off before we got back in the afternoon from work. So he was just staying home, playing games all day, every day. We thought he was going to school. They thought we had moved, took him off the rolls of the school. Boy, did we look fucking stupid. School looking at us like, what the hell?
That was
that wasn't entirely my fault. See, I don't deny that I started skipping school. But I only skipped for like a week or a week and a half or something, right? And then the bus stopped coming. Like the bus just didn't come.
Fucking move.
It wasn't that long, okay? It wasn't that long initially, but like the bus just stopped coming. And like I called the school and they told me to call the district. I called the district. I called all manner of different people, like trying to tell them, like, just send the bus back. Just send the bus back down here. Like, and they would not send the bus back, And I'm like, well, you're in so deep. What do you do at that point? Like you just gotta keep rolling with it, Like, I don't know what else to do at that point. I'm a kid, but I was smart. I was smart enough to at least like attempt to get the bus to come back, but for whatever dumbass reason, they just couldn't figure it out, which really speaks to the disagreements I had with the school. I mean, they can't even figure out how to get a damn bus to come to somebody's house. Of course I didn't want to go.
It's true. What was swimming in deep water with fucking morons?
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I unfortunately I went to a terrible school district and a not great school anyway, but
and what grade was it that you had the lady, the computer teacher, that said you was cheating?
I had her more than once, but I think when it was really popping all off was in 9th grade.
That was a hoot, man. We get this call from the school, one of the few times that he was going. We get this call from school, that they need to see us. So we go down there, and we got the assistant principal or whatever, and this computer teacher. And the assistant principal proceeds to tell me that Charles is cheating in computer class. Like, well, how? And the lady says, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? How can he be cheating if you don't know? Said, well, he's manipulating the network. I'm like, really?
Did you?
How?
No.
I don't know.
I just asked him because I know you can do it. So.
I said, hon, it sounds to me like your student might know more than you do, and you're pissed off about it.
It was a typing class, like.
I mean, he swore up and down all he was doing was helping the other kids with their assignments and whatnot. And I get that. I get that. He's always been, he likes nothing much more than telling other folks what to do.
Springtime, getting them damn bubbles.
And he was helpful. He was all about the computer stuff from a very young age. I know he knew more than everybody else. I just assumed that, she was just pissed off because he knew more than she did. She couldn't give me any evidence at all that he was cheating.
Did you?
That was the beginning of the end for him in school.
Yeah, she was really dumb, unfortunately. Like
that was when the countdown to 16 started.
Very nice.
We could sign you out and get you the fuck out of that mess.
Yeah, I've told a little bits of that story on stream about leaving school early and like testing out and getting my diploma and just going straight to college because I just kept having like stupid issues like all the time. Even when I would go to school and I would do my work and I'd try to be a good student, I kept getting in stupid trouble over the stupidest things. And it was nothing I did intentionally. I wasn't trying to be some sort of rebellious type. I was just there, trying to live my life. And there was always something. There was stuff like that with the typing teacher thinking I was cheating. Probably one of my other favorite memories, honestly, was, where the way my school was, I don't know, probably everybody's high school is a little bit different, but like the way my school was, a lot of it was outdoors. There was a lot of like little buildings with a lot of outdoor areas in between. It wasn't like a lot of high schools where it's like one big building where everything's enclosed. it was originally not a high school. It was something else, and they like turned it into a high school. So it was not set up like a traditional high school. And so you would get there before class started, and you would have to sit outside in these like patio areas waiting for class to start. And we had, we lived in Arkansas. I mean, it wasn't that often things were super cold, but we had a cold spell coming through. And you know how it is with public schools. They expect you to have like a clear or mesh backpack. And if you're going to wear anything on your head, it has to be no markings. And they wanted only white or green because that was our school colors that you could wear on your hat. And we tried, and this before you had like Amazon and stuff like that, right? Like you couldn't just order a white cap or a white, beanie off Amazon and get it in like 2 days. You had to go out and find it, and we could not find one. So I had a dark blue St. Louis Rams beanie that had only the tiniest little St. Louis Rams symbol on it. And I was like, well, this is going to have to be good enough, because it's cold out and I'm not going to get sick. I'm going to wear this, blue beanie. And I mean, I was at school for maybe 15 minutes and I was getting screamed at by some principal telling me, you got to take that off. You got to take that off. You got to put it in the office, put it in the drawer, and you can't have that. And I was like, that's not going to happen. I just bought this thing in St. Louis. And somebody ain't going to go up there and snatch it out of the drawer because you guys don't pay attention. Like, people steal stuff out of that drawer all the time. Like, I'm just not going to do it. And she's like, well, we're going to have to suspend you. I'm like, do what you got to do. But, I'm not giving you this hat and letting you, lose it someplace.
And be aware, my dad will be here shortly.
And it was just like the very start of the day. And it wasn't possible for my dad to just quick turn around and come down there. So I called my brother. And my brother worked like night shift at this time. So like he was basically just going to sleep, so I had to call him. And I mean, he was pissed, but it was great. It was one of my favorite memories of my brother because he came up there to pick me up and he had a hat on, and I mean, if you had ever seen my brother, he had a wild head of hair. It would always be just 20 different directions anyway, but just pulling him out of bed anyway, after being asleep for like 3 seconds, he's walking up there to the office and he's like looking at this vice principal waiting to like greet him or whatever. And he like rips his hat off. He's like, hold on, let me don't violate the rules. I want to take my hat off, And she's like, no, you're fine. He's like, no, I insist. I want to follow the rules, and just like had no interest in this lady, And I got suspended for it. And then, of course, we came back later on with my dad and like went through this whole,
dad yell
routine once again of like, why do you keep getting him in trouble for this stupid stuff? And then we supposedly resolved it, right?
Yes, mom and dad.
Where they said I could wear the hat as long as I only wore it outdoors. They're like, you can't wear it in the building. So I said, okay, cool. I'll only wear it outdoors. That's a fair compromise. So literally end of the day, I'm going to get on my bus and my bus driver would park at the front and he don't wait. My bus driver would leave your ass. He didn't care, No. So I'm always running to get to the bus to make sure I don't get left, right? So as we're walking out the door, a bunch of students were all filing out, last class of the day. I pull my hat on because it's like raining. So I'm pulling my hat on as I'm going out the door. Immediately, I hear a teacher behind me. Hey, you, giving me grief, And I'm like, bruh, I got to catch my bus. He's like, oh, I'm going to write you up. I said, my name's such and such. Write me up. Do whatever you got to do, man. I'm not missing my bus. And I walk out. And of course, the next day, immediately, I'm called up to the principal's office and they're giving me shit. And I'm like, I did exactly what you told me to do. I didn't put that hat on until I was walking out the door. And they're like, well, you can't just walk away from a teacher. I'm like, hey, the bell rang, man. Day's over. Like, I'm going to my bus. My bus driver will leave me. Are you going to take me home when the bus is gone? I don't think so. So, like I'm not waiting an hour and a half for my dad to get off work and come
It was
pick
a
me
fun
up.
Childhood, wasn't
Yeah, it was like that all the time.
all the time.
Like stuff I didn't even do.
It was great when he graduated early, and we didn't have to do it anymore.
It was endless. It was endless. And that's the state, unfortunately, of public school in America in a lot of places. They're more interested in making sure that you follow the rules rather than teaching anything. And once I had a target on my back and I was known as a troublemaker of some kind, even though I wasn't really doing anything, they just,
I wasn't doing nothing either. It was all a fucking bunch of bullshit. I never did anything.
He's got some crazy stories too about his abuses in Catholic school, but
I never did nothing.
Not public school in his case, but
no, Lord, no, I was raised by penguins.
Yeah, the nuns.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup.
Jackson
thank you
has
for the gifted
gifted Evilas
sub
at
to Evie. Jake, I appreciate
1,229
that.
a subscription. Jaximus gifted a tier 1 sub to Evilas at 1,229. They have given 105 gift subs in the channel.
Letting that play out. So Pew says, who does Rev take after most, Mom or Papa?
Papa.
I think we know the answer to that pretty much immediately.
Papa. They're two of a kind, and they kill me. I'm all alone with men all the time.
I definitely take after my dad more than my mom. I do have some good parts of me that are from Mom, but
Yeah, bad eyes.
I definitely got my mom's
My
eyes.
gift to you, son. My gift to you.
Mom's eyes and her curly hair.
Yeah.
But my mom always said that I was a carbon copy of my father, and Charles is a carbon copy of me.
Yeah.
That's why I named him Charles. I named him after my dad. He's named after my dad and me. So I knew the gene pool was deep there, and I knew what he was going to be before he even got here. That's how he got named. His mom thought he was going to be a girl, and she wanted to name him some goofy-ass fucking hippie name or some shit. I was like, well, there's no point in arguing against that. However,
I was almost called Harmony or something.
yeah. No, it was Crystal or Star or
it was
some
something popular then.
crazy shit like that.
I was
But
an old
anyway.
hippie, so
I had inside information that Deborah did not know yet. Is that my dad had 4 sons, and all my dad's sons had sons. My oldest brother Rich has 3 boys. My brother Lou, his first one was a boy. My brother Joe has 2 boys. So I knew he was going to be a boy. So I just told Deborah, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If it's a girl, you can name it any goofy ass fucking thing you want. But if it's a boy, his name is Charles William. Okay.
Goofy ass thing.
So we shook, and Charles had a name.
So Pew wants to know which one annoys you more. Which one of us?
Oh, it's Bill. It's Bill. Yeah, but I love Bill, and I've been with Bill for 38 years, so,
I got the inside track of being the,
we're both at home
the
all
boy,
the time,
the
24.
baby, so I can get away with more.
Oh, yeah, I give Charles anything.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'll give him anything.
So,
Charlie, a female name too? It can be. I don't think she would have named me Charlie, but
we have a niece named Charlie.
We do.
Charlotte.
we do, yeah.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yep.
There is a female Charlie in the family.
Well, Deborah and I were lucky, though. You talk about being together for that long and who annoys who. But, I mean, we have been together we've been married for 36 years,
Yes.
together for 38. And we had exactly 1 date before she moved in with me. That was it. That was all we required. I'm an honest-to-God example of being hit by the thunderbolt. I saw her. I didn't even know her name. I didn't notice that little kid standing next to her. All I saw was that ass bent over a bar, and I was in love from that very first second.
From the ass to the heart.
It's true. It's true. I mean, You know, 6 weeks after the first time I saw that ass bent over a bar, it was living in my house, and it's been there ever since. They say we had one date.
We went
to wrestling matches.
one date and one shoulder rub.
Yeah.
Yep, we went to the wrestling matches.
She took me to the wrestling matches for our first date.
Yep. Yep.
That's always my favorite.
No expense was spared.
That's always my favorite part of the story, where she tried to play hard to get, and he let some other waitress give him a shoulder rub, and she got real mad.
I took mine.
Hard to get didn't last very long.
It lasted for a little while.
Yeah.
Who's Papa's favorite wrestler? Oh, I know the answer to that.
Until I left my wife. That's how long it lasted.
Yeah, you were married at the time.
Yes, you were.
My favorite wrestler? Oh, that's an easy one. Woo! The Nature Boy.
Always Ric Flair, man.
The best there is.
Man, that's great.
I have many memories when I was, and we talked about this a little bit not that long ago, how I was, when I was real young, I was a Hulkamaniac, like a lot of kids were, and like I remember I remember the arguments between me and Dad about, Hulk's gonna win, he's the good guy. And he'd be like, no, Flair's gonna win, like, going back and forth. Of course, as I grew older, I realized that, Hulk
was right.
Hulk was just a face. He didn't have very much, ability. So I became more of a fan of people like, Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and people like that.
I have his autograph.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we do have Ric Flair's autograph.
I chased him all over a casino in Reno to get him to sign that thing.
Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake was one of my favorites when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Love me some Jake.
Yeah.
Of course, I was a big fan of, Sting, also like a lot of kids were. And, later on when I was more of a teenager, the NWO, I always was a big fan of Razor Ramon and Kevin Nash and all those guys.
Your brother used to do that stupid X
the
thing.
DX. Mom always hated DX.
Oh, I hated it.
Bunch of kids running around going, suck it! She's like, I don't like that.
It was not really age appropriate.
It wasn't, but
bad.
Those were the good days. When WWE was edgy, man.
Nah. That was bad.
Favorite family song? Oh, man. Wow.
Dream a Little Dream.
That's probably me and Deborah. That's me and Deborah's song. Is Dream a Little Dream. But there's, a birthday can't go by without the Beatles waking you up at full blast.
So they know that. I play the birthday song for them.
Every Thanksgiving, Alice's Restaurant must be played in its entirety.
I played Alice's Restaurant on stream one time, and people were very confused.
It's awesome. There's just, anytime Jim Croce comes on, everything stops. Or Harry Chapin. There's a lot of favorite artists. Queen, we love Freddie.
Yeah,
right.
A lot of Queen.
Bill's favorite artists.
I suppose.
I don't listen to that.
No, she listens to all this newfangled hippie metal shit.
Mom's musical taste have changed pretty dramatically in the last 5 or 10 years.
Her music gets newer and mine gets older.
Yeah. She was that's why I played Journey on the intro. She used to be a big Journey fan, but anymore it's mostly 2000s and forward, like alternative and rock.
Death Punch or some Carry On nonsense.
She likes a lot of like modern rock stuff.
Them goofball Finnish dudes with the strings.
Poets of the Fall.
Yeah, okay.
She doesn't work in the office anymore, but when she used to work in the office, people would be like, why is this 50-year-old lady in here jamming out to heavy metal and rock music in the middle of the office?
I worked that way. I always jam out the music. So
people definitely thought she was weird.
Yes.
not that I'm complaining. I like a lot of that music too. But I'm all over the place. You guys have probably learned from all the musical intros.
One of the proudest days of my life was one afternoon when we came in from work, and he was the only one home. I opened up the door, and I was blown away by the sound of Frank Sinatra. I knew right then and there I had raised him correctly. He was home by himself listening to Sinatra. So I knew right then I had done my job as a father. Anything else coming was gravy.
I definitely have a lot of memories as a kid of doing something and music always being involved. You know, if we were, you know, if me and my brother were sitting on the floor playing Nintendo, there was music playing. If, you know, we had a bunch of people over and we were making food for everybody, there was music playing. If it was a holiday, music. You know, everything was always music. My dad always had a full stereo system with, you know, big speakers and all that kind of stuff.
We were cool, man.
It was probably the most extravagant item that they would spend money on was the sound system.
Well, we were cool.
Well, that was our entertainment budget.
Yeah.
That was our budget.
We was pretty poor folks. Well, I had records. I had a lot of vinyl when I was a kid. And we had a house fire when Charles was still in his crib. We lost everything, all my records and everything. And at the time, it was like 1986 or something like that, 86, 87. Compact discs were just coming out. So instead of buying everything back on vinyl, I started a CD collection. So I had vinyl first, and then I had CDs.
And now
now everything's just, you know how everything is now. Everything's fucking Spotify.
Yeah.
You know,
MP3s and on the internet.
You don't need anything.
Yeah.
Everything streams. Yay, streaming.
It's streaming.
Yeah, you can't even hardly get 50 cents a CD anymore.
Where are you gonna put them?
Yeah, nobody wants them.
Oh, I love Jim Croce. When I was a little kid, probably 9, 10, 11 years old, my sister had all Jim Croce's records on 8-track. And her little stereo was in our room. And I would get home from school before she would get home from work. And ordinarily, I was not allowed to touch her stereo. I'd get slapped about if I did. But I could get home and listen to her Jim Croce 8-tracks. Get them all in just about enough in time before she would get home from work, and I never got caught. But, oh, yeah, man. I'd say I got, you know, a lot of music from my older brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest of 6. You know, so they all were, you know, Beatles and Elvis and Pink Floyd, you know, and 60s rock. And then, you know, I graduated from high school in 1980. So my high school years were the heart of disco. And, of course, Mom never listened to disco. She would never admit such things. But,
No.
you know, she was an Ozzy Osbourne person.
Yeah,
And such what. But,
heavy rock.
yeah. But, you know, and my folks, you know, growing up with my folks at home, they were, you know, they're 40s people, the big band music, Glenn Miller and Benny Goodman and stuff. I love all that music. I say the older I get, I listen to that music more.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I grew up to Motown.
Yeah, Motown was great. Motown ruled. My sister Pat was a huge fan of Motown.
Oh yeah, mine too. I had older sisters that teased their hair and did the whole tease thing and would dance in the basement, you know.
Yeah. Louis was more Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin. My brother Joe was Billy Joel and Elton John. Got my love of Elton John from my brother Joe. Thanks, Joe.
I mean, we went and saw Brian Setzer in concert. That was great.
Oh man, that was a great show. I've seen Brian Setzer twice. That dude rocks.
Yeah.
Even though his hair was all limp from the humidity in Arkansas.
It's true. He was struggling with the hair, but that's okay. The guitar was working.
Yeah, he put on a show.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah, we're all over the place. I mean, saying you guys see a lot of that in my intros. I play a lot of different types of music. And as we've covered multiple times, I even like country, even though most people say I listen to everything except like country, you know. But you know.
Country is a very slim line.
Yeah,
it's a very slim lane for me.
Very.
But there's some, you know.
It goes too pop anymore. Could you give me my shirt?
I mean, there definitely is like poppy country. Like I was never that.
Oh, absolutely.
I was never big into like
Listen to
Shania
country,
Twain
listen to real
or
country.
you
Listen
know
to Johnny Cash and
Yeah.
Yoakum
Yeah.
and George,
Yeah.
That's not bad.
George
I-
great, but Randy Travis, that's my boy right there.
Yeah, I never got big into like Shania Twain or anything
No.
like that. That was like the poppier side.
Talk for a little bit. I'm going out.
Shit.
Take her talk, Charles.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mama Rev? now
Don't put me on the spot.
that Dad has decided to step out for a moment.
Oh, you're right.
What does Daenerys prefer to listen to, I wonder? I have no idea. Probably speed metal if she had any choice.
Daenerys, the cat.
Yeah.
She likes when I put the birds on the computer and the squirrels and everything. She likes that.
Mm. Things she'd like to eat.
Yeah, we have videos to play for the cat and the dog.
That's true. I mean, anytime she leaves the house, she leaves on YouTube nature videos for the animals.
Yes, so they're comfortable, and I have a dog.
Yeah, the dog's actually out here right now somewhere.
Yeah,
He's back there.
Mom's out here, so.
Larry's hanging out. Also, I don't know if I said it or not because, like, I saw you talking in the chat there, Pikachu. But welcome in as well to Kupo's daughter. There was a lot of talking going on at the time. If I missed you, every time my dad leaves the house, it's Alexa play dog music. So I understand. Well, there you go.
There you go.
You're not the only one.
Playing videos and music, calming. You know, Larry barks at everybody. So.
Yeah. Pew says, "What is the cutest thing Baby Rev did that you miss?"
Oh, I used to love giving him a bath when he was little. He was always really fun. I love Charles to death. So there's many memories of fun things with Charles.
Bath time.
Bath time was so much fun. We'd sit in that tub for 30 minutes. You play in the bubbles. It was fun. It was our time. I always enjoyed that.
Well, there you go. See, I was an awesome kid. See,
And once he got older, he kind of was hanging out with his brother all the time, and it was frogs and gross, and then it was mud and.
well, you know, Kenneth. You know, I
Yeah,
love dirt.
It was just. It was gone.
Those are the one of the most famous moments of my brother's life when he just sitting outside. He just said, "I love dirt," and that defined him in every way. You know, he was always going somewhere, getting into something in the woods,
Digging.
and he was so much older than me because he was from my mom's first marriage, so he was like 7 years older than me. So he would. He'd drag me along. I was his little shadow everywhere he went. So I spent a lot of time getting dragged around by my older brother, whether I wanted to go or not.
You were the only person he had, so we lived really far out. So
yeah, we always lived in the country and way out where you had to sort of make
shitty internet.
Make your own fun. No, well, everything was shitty internet back then, but
I think my favorite thing to do with you though was when we got our computer, our very first computer. And remember, it was DOS. And we got the book in the computer, and I think you were 8. We learned how to do it together. So it took a long time, and
yeah, the first computer was definitely very exciting.
it was.
Right away. Good old Comcast. Or not Comcast, Compact. That's what it was.
Yes.
Yep.
It was all one piece, wasn't it?
It was close to. I know he was talking about the internet company, but it was so close to the computer name, my brain just went, yeah. But I was like, no, that's not right. It was Compact.
Yep. It was about 18 inches cube, and it had the screen and the guts and everything all in one deal.
Yeah, it was an all-in-one.
An all-in-one thing.
Which
Came
is
out of the box, plugged it in.
Terrible design in today's world, but
Yeah. Big old book, remember?
yeah. And it was one of the, and back in the old days when there was a lot of value with the computer too. I mean, they put all kinds of software and games and all kind of shit in the box with it, So it was like part of the fun of getting the new computer was not only playing with the computer, but you had all these games and stuff that came with it. And one of the games that came in the box was King's Quest 6. And that's what got me started on
all them King's Quest
RPGs
games.
and puzzles and stuff like that was really King's Quest. I mean, that's where it really began. I play a little bit of RPGs on Nintendo. Like, I played like, Crystallis and some things like that with my brother. But, when we got the computer was when he was gone. So it was like when I was on my own gaming, rather than just kind of playing with him. So it was really where I think a lot of my early love of RPGs and stuff came from, which is, you don't get that today. They don't put software and stuff like that in the box with you.
Yeah, it came with all kind of crap in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff.
We used to play pinball or something on there.
Yep,
you had Creep Night.
Creep Night,
Yep.
yeah. Pinball.
Yep.
Played a lot of Creep Night.
Yeah.
We made out like bandits on that computer, though. Remember, we had bought the extended warranty, and it took the shit after about 8 months.
Yeah.
And man, we ended up getting like $500 store credit for that little piece of shit computer.
Yeah. They were kind of screwed because the warranty said that they had to replace it, and
they couldn't.
Like technology still today, it had advanced forward significantly enough that model was now just obsolete. And everything about it was old, so they had to end up basically giving us a whole new computer that was an upgrade for the cost.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was like 500 and something store credits to go buy whatever you want. We'll call the credit in.
It was great. But I remember starting out with like Windows 3.1 and then Windows 95 and all that, learning all those old operating systems.
I think that was about the only one we ever bought whole, though. After that, you started building them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started building
them. Yeah, we didn't really buy much computers over the years.
I think that first one we got the store credit for was the only whole computer we ever bought. After that, you ordered parts and built them. And we got hand-me-downs.
Yeah, we get the hand-me-downs. Those are nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of... Yeah. I don't know. We may have had one in there in between that like Greg helped us build or something. Yeah. But
that could be.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Stretch
probably helped you build the first one.
That's how we learned to put the parts together. Remember all?
Because I remember talking to Firestone's kid
George
to help me build the one computer, and that was before I was really confident doing it myself. And then after that was when I started just full on building them myself.
And look at you now.
Yeah, huh? Everybody's jealous.
Pew says, Rev has a lot of love for tabletop RPGs. Have either of you joined in these adventures? I've never gotten them to do tabletop stuff. They were, gamers of a sort in their time. I mean, they played Nintendo. Used to play like Zelda and Kid Icarus and things like that on the Nintendo, and my dad's always been a huge pinball fan. If I ever had like enough wealth to just buy things for fun, I think I would buy him a pinball machine one day. I don't know where the hell we'd put it, but
if we had a pinball machine, we'd find a fucking spot.
I honestly love to buy him a pinball machine.
Right next to the soda machine that takes nickels and gives you beers.
They used to play all kinds of stuff in the arcade back when they had the restaurant, especially.
Oh, yeah.
And, they did like, Facebook-y style games like Angry Birds, and they golf in VR and
farm. We farmed.
Yeah, Dad used to be obsessed with
Farmville.
Farmville, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
He used to do a lot of Farmville stuff.
All the time.
I had my big farm, and I had Mom's big farm. I had to keep 2 big farms.
Yeah, Mom got bored with that shit.
That was pretty hardcore about his Farmville for a time.
Mom got bored.
No. That was when I was off work for 6 weeks when I first had my prostate out. That's what it was. I was stuck at home for 6 weeks by myself. So I fucking started playing Farmville. That was the end of that.
But that really worked out, both of us learning the computer. It worked out for you, you do this. And it worked out for me, I do what I do. And without computer skills and knowing all that stuff, I'd be like my sister Peggy, who can't even get to her email. So.
Yeah, but Peggy's just lazy.
Wow, that hurt.
She is, though.
That was pretty harsh.
Oh.
I mean, she could learn that kind of stuff. That stuff's not hard.
I know.
She just doesn't even want to try.
I know.
Their force is pushing her down.
Well, we know the hairy thing, but you know.
So you're right. I took the initiative to learn the things that I know. So.
What was that game you used to play? They had all the treasure chests. We had to figure out all the puzzles.
That was for Trail at Krondor.
Yeah, man, we spend hours figuring out them damn puzzles.
I've thought about streaming that a couple of times just for fun to be like a throwback thing.
Yep. Play Wii golf.
Yeah, we used to play a lot of Wii golf on the Wii. We played Tiger Woods golf on the Wii, which was
Tiger Woods, yo.
Always a fun time because, you know, with the Wii controls, you almost get like a little bit of a sense of you're actually golfing. So we'd have
like the Oculus,
you know, and he did like Wii boxing and all that kind of stuff when they got the Wii.
Yeah, boxing and bowling.
I don't think he ever really got into playing like Zelda or any of the games.
We can use that Wii on the back patio. No, the Oculus on the back patio.
Probably.
Well, sure you could. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Were there versus nights between you three? I don't think we ever did any kind of versus things.
No,
I mean,
not really.
There were just certain things that my dad was good at, and there were certain things that I was good at. Like he would play like Tetris and get really high in Tetris, but that was never really like my thing. You know, I'd be playing like RC Pro-Am or Turtles in Time or something.
We can't play your games; they're too hard.
And then like him and Mom were really good at like Kid Icarus. You know, they'd play that thing over and over and over again. But I'd go and play you know, Castlevania or something.
Castlevania was cool.
We did play Castlevania.
Oh yeah, we played plenty of Castlevania. Jumping over there, floating Medusa heads and such.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah.
I like that one because it's scary. Like
still around today.
I like scary stuff.
Still making Castlevania. They got a whole subgenre now of games that are like inspired by Castlevania and Metroid. They call Metroidvanias.
Too hard to play now.
Can't beat classic monsters. You know? Dracula, your Frankenstein, your mummies, you just can't beat that stuff.
A lot of them do have that.
Insane.
But they also have other stuff, but should try out golf with friends. They probably enjoy golf with friends, yeah.
They like walkabout golf.
You know, that's a VR thing. You play golf with other people.
I like playing golf with other people.
Every few weeks, my dad will come in and ask if he can play VR on my machine and shoot the guns in Pavlov. Maybe your pops would get into that once he gets a taste. You know, I at one point wanted to get him into like something like Euro Truck Simulator or something like that, because you know he likes to drive and you know.
Oh yeah, I love to drive.
You know, he drove big truck for a little while, and I've always thought like he'd probably get a kick out of this, but I've never really gotten it all kind of cohesively together because part of me feels like it would be most fun to get like an actual wheel and everything so you could actually drive.
You can see my life for 2 weeks.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you get to actually drive around to places and see.
How do I shift? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean, you could get like a shifter, like a thing, you know, more you do it on a keyboard, I guess, or whatever. But you know,
okay,
interesting.
I'm used to 18
as soon as you got time.
Splitter, so. Yeah,
as soon as you got time, baby.
Put that on my list.
I don't know if
right after you remodel that.
I don't know if you can get an 18-speed full truck shifter or not, but I don't know.
Put it in the backyard.
But you can set it up where you have to manually shift and do everything, or you can drive like an automatic, which is probably what I'm sure most people do. But
any numbnut can drive an automatic.
That's not nice. Be kind.
I try to race a game in VR and maybe want to vomit. Yeah, some people probably wouldn't do well with the
I tried to. Same motion. Thing nearly happened to me when I tried to ride a roller coaster.
Yeah, that really messed
Holy
us up.
Holy Christ! I thought I was going to die. I was going to fall over.
I did manage to do it once.
I was sitting in the chair and thought I was going to fucking fall over.
Yeah, it got nauseous.
Yeah, I've heard differing things from different people. Jake was one of the people that told me like he got really nauseous one time in VR and like threw up, and then after that he was good forever. It was like he no longer got motion sick. So
Wow.
I like racing games. We used to have a really good racing game on the Nintendo way back in the day too. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
The name of it, but it
Me
had
and Bill
different
played that all
courses.
the time.
You're probably talking about like the what was it like?
Yeah, we went around the course. And,
It had a desert course and a New York course.
You're talking about the one where you're like you were looking behind the car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like Night Rider or Night Driver or some shit.
Yeah. We played that.
We have one. We have a driving game on the VR too.
Do
we don't play it very much. We play golf.
We don't play the VR very much.
Well,
I'm
we
always
play
working.
golf mostly.
You're always building. So.
My racing game was always more RC Pro-Am, but that game was freaking hard.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where I end up in the corner and can't fucking move.
Yeah. We don't,
Yeah.
I hate that
we don't
shit.
like those games.
No,
We just
can't.
get stuck in the corner and we can't move. And it's over.
You know, we get into the VR stuff. You know, we could probably work out some golf with friends or something fun.
Okay.
Oh, we'd love to join you
I'm
for
in
golf.
golf anytime. I love to play golf.
I can
you know
cast
me.
it to my pad and I can watch everything that's going on. So that's really cool.
Don't have to talk hard to get me to play golf.
I love to watch Bill play golf.
It's pretty good. It's got a lot of different courses.
I
And a
love
lot
to
of
watch
craziness.
Deborah walk away. Come on. Hate to see you go. Love to watch you walk away.
You
Come
married
on,
him
man.
I did marry him
twice. Yeah.
3.
3. Oh, there is
times.
3.
That's
There
right.
is 3.
There
Thank
is
you.
3.
There is 3 times. I married him. That's how much I loved him.
FXIV, FFXIV. What the hell is that?
No, I don't think they're gonna get into Final Fantasy 14.
Oh no, that
No. We'll get
no. That's one of those things where I end up stuck up against a wall and I can't move.
Yeah.
Everybody just shoots me. Pisses me off.
Yeah, mom keeps saying she's gonna come down here and steal my Switch and play it, and I'm like, yeah, you know what's gonna happen. You're gonna end up running into a wall and not knowing what the hell's going on, and you're gonna get frustrated.
Mario Karts.
It doesn't matter if it's Mario Kart; it's gonna be the same thing.
It looks fun.
We all know what'll happen.
I do. What do I play? I play my pad. I play cards, solitaire.
I'd say I wish we could find you guys like and that's really where their skill set is in my opinion. I you could call it, I guess, more analog gaming.
Yeah, I do.
You know, they're very good at like poker and canasta and spades and you
That's what we
know,
grew up doing.
card games. And I wish they could find some people to play cards with, because they're very good at cards, but it's hard to find people who play cards like that.
The actual cards?
Yeah, that aren't crazy or want, you know.
I mean, that used to be what we do on camping trips. I mean, we'd go camping and then we'd sit around at the table and play spades and canasta and stuff like that. And when they had those kind of friends, you know, they'd sit at the table for hours.
Like canasta for whole weekends. With
Yeah, Casey and Tammy.
Yeah.
Those were the
Come
days.
down for the weekend so we could play. I'm a dickhead. I cheated cards.
That's right. Casey had a hat made.
Yeah.
I
the
never
classic.
cheated at cards. I don't cheat.
She's very good at cards.
Okay.
She often gets people angry at her because she's good at cards.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Hey, Iceheart.
Oh, Jaximus gifted Iceheart92 a subscription. Oh, Jaximus gifted a tier 1 sub to Iceheart92. They have given 106 gift subs in the channel.
How you doing, Iceheart? How you doing this evening? My VTuber tracking's going crazy. I'm not even going to worry about it. Thank you for the gifted sub, Jake, to Iceheart. She'll take you to the cleaner. She will. She's won poker tournaments.
I have.
She cleans up.
I don't know how.
I'm on the big pile of quarters.
They got into oh god, everybody's pelting me now. Okay, we'll wait.
That's my favorite part. Keep doing that. I love that part. It's hilarious.
They got into a poker game one time where they were, what, you guys were like at the final table with like you two and one other guy.
It was a lady.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, this friend of mine that I knew from work invited us to his house for a poker thing, and the only person in the room we knew was him. There was like 25 people. I think everybody put up $20 a piece, and it ended up the final table with me and Deborah and this other lady, and we just tag teamed her. She finally got pissed off and threw the money at us because every time she'd bet, I'd raise her through the roof and make her fold, and if I bet, she we just tag teamed her, beat the shit out of her, took all her money. We left soon.
We never got invited back.
Yeah, we never got invited back.
I mean, what do they expect you to do?
I know. What are we here for? Play cards. You want to play for money? We'll play for money.
We took that money.
Don't get pissed when you lose.
We were poor. We needed that money.
Yeah.
True. It was a very fortuitous time to win a poker tournament.
Yeah. We've always been poor, so we've always needed.
I say, anytime you come back from bingo or a poker game with money, it's a pretty good day around here.
I won $500 at the bingo game.
That's right. Won the coverall at the bingo game last year.
Saying you just won $300 in your
yeah, won $300
Super Bowl
on the
gig.
Super Bowl. Yeah, Mom's lucky. I never win nothing.
Mom always wins. I don't win anything either.
I rely on science and roulette wheels and stuff like that to make money when I gamble. Mm-hmm. Mom just wins by dumb fuck luck.
She goes to the slots and somehow still wins.
Yeah, I'm just the butt of all the jokes.
14.
Right now in our house.
Exactly.
Those are all the jokes that I hear all the time.
I tell Pew that, we get into these, we get in Discord, which is the program we use to talk to each other. We play games together. We play Battlefield or something. And
your classified
Pew.
documents.
Yeah. But Pew has these like brain fart moments too, just like you do, where she'll just say something just
out of the blue.
And me and Dragra will just like give her shit about it forever. She's like, you guys are always making fun of me, and I'm like, no, we're laughing with you.
I know how you feel then. I know how you feel then.
Yeah, speed balking
on a daily basis. So.
No,
they closed our bingo hall up, Pew. Bunch of rednecks got into a brawl, and they won't have it no more.
Yeah, damn.
The hall
rednecks.
won't let them in no more to play. Sucks. We got to find a new bingo place.
Yeah, that's bullshit, man. They ought to just kick those people out, man.
I like to play bingo. I'm nice. I don't know why everybody got kicked out.
I don't know. I think it was more of the Eagles decided they didn't want to deal with it.
I know, huh? Well, the old ladies, they get pissed off when they don't win.
Yeah, they're mean.
Or somebody says something stupid, and then, next thing you know, somebody's frustrated, and rednecks are in season, man. Plus, it's attached to a bar, so there's drinking involved with the bingo, which does not really help the situation any.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what they weren't there the night whatever this happened.
No.
So we don't know exactly what happened, but apparently it was significant enough they shut it down, and it has not been reopened.
Yes,
exactly. Drunk redneck grannies.
Yeah, that was my Friday night date night. That was date night.
Yeah, that's a whole nother reason it sucks. You guys go out on the week. That'd be like your weekend trip.
After all these years, she moved from wrestling matches up to bingo. Woo!
And we're partiers.
We're homebodies.
We are.
That's the reality.
Our entertainment is our computers and.
I mean, moving back up here and going to hockey game, baseball game is probably the most out experiences we've done in quite a while.
Yeah, we get together with family a lot.
Well, yeah, now.
Yeah.
Although we do, I don't know if Dad ever told you about it, but we do want to set up a weekend probably to go down with at least Ruth and Peggy if she wants to go, maybe down to the aquarium and you know, ride the train down and go to the aquarium and.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Just see if it costs to get in a place. If you get in a place, maybe you won't want to go.
But and they got this cool restaurant down there, or at least it looks cool, where they do like burgers and shakes and all kind of stuff. You know, it's like a
an old-fashioned soda fountain.
Yeah. It's like an old school diner kind of thing. Looks pretty cool. I thought we'd go down there and eat and go to the aquarium or something one day. Maybe if the weather could stop turning cold for 5 minutes.
That would be nice. It's cold.
How are the family gatherings? I think the family gatherings are always pretty great. I mean, really, you know, both sides of the family, you know, we always have a good time.
Yeah.
Coolest place we've ever been? Oh, Yellowstone, hands down.
Yeah, hands down.
Yellowstone and Deadwood.
Yep.
Yeah. Deadwood was cool too. I mean, you mentioned the family reunion. I loved it there. I thought that
that was
up there in the cabins and stuff like that
was really neat.
Really fun.
But Yellowstone, for me, anyway, Yellowstone.
That was our favorite trip.
And we went to Mount Rushmore.
Deadwood, yep. We went to Rushmore. We went to
that little town
Crazy
where
Horse.
you could see the mountains all the way around.
Crazy Horse Mountain, Jackson Hole.
Jackson Hole. I love Jackson Hole.
Yep. That was a fun trip.
That was like our one big trip. That was when I was going out to Utah to go to college, and we decided, you know, we'd drive up first of all, and we'd make it into a whole vacation. So we left like 2 weeks early or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we just hit a bunch of places along the way, parks and, you know, national monuments and stuff like that along the way, and we did that. It was a fun trip.
Yep.
That was probably the only quote unquote vacation we maybe have ever taken.
We were poor people.
Yeah, we never could really afford vacation.
Yeah, we lived in the country, so you had your lake and your.
We did the trip where we came up and you peed in the fountain at Six Flags and punched out Sylvester. That was a vacation. You just didn't realize it because you were too young to realize.
I think the only other vacation-y memory I have is maybe going to Tahoe.
Yeah,
we did
there
that
a couple times.
Yeah.
Everybody after when we were here for 2 weeks after Grandpa passed, went up in the arch and everything.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, I remember going in the arch.
Oh, Jaximus gifted Aketai subscription. Oh, Jaximus gifted a tier 1 sub to Aketai. They have given 107 gift subs in the channel.
It's pretty cool up there.
Arch is awesome, man.
He's scared of heights just like I am.
Yeah, but you're in the arch.
Yeah, but it's different.
I'm still not going in there.
I mean, it's a little scary, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's not like you're going to fall out of it.
There's no way. I get scared walking close to the water tower over here. And I have to
We used to go on vacation every year. We come up here for your birthday. That was like a little vacation.
Yeah, we come up for some Rams games.
Yeah.
Which definitely was cool before they ripped the team away.
Us over.
Yeah. Before Stan came along. Welcome in, Katie. Good to see you. Thanks, Jake, for yet another gifted sub to Katie.
To Nectamar.
Sure.
Hi, Nectamar.
Hi, Nectamar.
Say hi to Nectamar anytime you want.
We've known Nectamar for a long time.
Yep. Nectamar's been on board the wagon for a long, long time.
I haven't heard that name for so long.
Yeah.
Pew says she has a mission for me to see the sea and or ocean.
Awesome.
Which has always been a tough one because Mom will not go to the ocean. So if Mom ain't going, the rest of us ain't going for the most part. So yeah.
I'm more of a mountain
I always
girl.
wanted to go to North Carolina for crab season. Soft shell crab season. I always wanted to go there for that. Go to what's it? Savannah, Georgia. See all them old houses. Is it Savannah?
Yeah, that's not
Savannah's one of them, but
where they got all them old houses.
You know, New Orleans and areas down there.
I used to want to go to New Orleans, but not anymore.
I don't want to go there anymore.
It's where not all old houses
Canada.
are, though.
Oh, I don't think so.
I would go to Canada.
I want to go to Canada. I want to visit Vancouver. I know. I want to go see Julia and Juno and everybody someday. I'd love to go to Vancouver.
Finland. I'd like to go to
Finland. Of course, I'll be up there in the neighborhood of Jake. I don't know how far away Jake is from Vancouver off the top of my head because I don't know Canadian geography, but
those are more my kind of places than the ocean.
The trick to Canada is it's easy getting in, it's a bitch getting out. I learned that when I was a truck driver.
They don't want to let me out?
Yeah, man, your paperwork ain't in order. They won't let you leave.
Why would my paperwork not be in order?
I don't know. Jim and Deanna, my nephew Jim, they had friends. They went up there for a vacation or for something, and the lady was pregnant, and she ended up giving birth in Canada. But they didn't have paperwork for the baby when they came across the board. Didn't have no birth certificate or nothing.
Right.
They had a hell of a time getting out of Canada.
Yeah.
Yep. When I drove a truck, first thing they ask you is, dude, can you go to Canada? I'm like, I don't know. Do you owe even a nickel of child support or anything like that? Anything. If you got any kind of public debt like that, they'll hold you until you pay. They will not let you leave Canada till you pay.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know all that.
I immediately lied and said, "Oh yeah, I owe tons of back child support. So to Canada."
I'm a scumbag. Don't send me there.
Yep, that's right. Bigger dickheads than they are in the U.S. This is what I always heard. Just a motherfucker getting out.
Dragaran is not far from Vancouver. I would love to coordinate Dragaran coming up to Vancouver as well. I don't know if
you got to get.
I don't know if he would actually be interested, but
you got to get a salmon line hooked up here.
What?
A salmon deal.
Salmon?
Yeah, whole fresh salmon. Overnight them to me. These people all live up there on the northwest, up there where the salmon run, baby. We need fish.
Okay.
I forgot you had all these people up there, man. They're all up there in Puget Sound and up there in that neighborhood, man.
That'd be quite expensive, I'd imagine.
I don't give a fuck. Fresh salmon, 24 hours out of the water? Hell yeah. That's the best shit in the world.
My husband has family that has a lobster catching business in Maine.
Okay, they can send me some too. I'm down with lobster.
Yeah, I'll accept lobster.
I will indeed.
I will indeed.
I will indeed.
I got smoked salmon in the fridge right now. He's in somewhere in the Seattle area-ish.
Yeah, well, there you go. See, when we lived in Reno and I worked for Bruce, we had a customer up there in Seattle, and he used to send us fresh salmon all the time down to Reno. Man, it's the best shit in the world. 24 hours out of the water, packed in ice. Oh, baby.
I don't know the logistics of that, but you know what? If anybody's interested, let me know. Maybe we could work it out.
Load of salmon right now.
Maybe we could work it out.
Man. Really?
Somebody else had a question up here I missed.
Dingiest place you ever visited? You still talk about laughing at memories.
What's the dingiest places you've visited?
Oh. Does Charles have to be there, or can it just be me and Deborah?
I'm afraid.
We've lived in some pretty dingy places.
No. We went to St. Louis a couple years ago, and it was the trip where it was our anniversary where I got diagnosed up there. But we had made reservations.
Did I hear this story?
At a nice hotel. It was like, I don't know, we're gonna be smart. We're gonna stay at the Holiday Inn tonight or whatever the fuck.
Right.
We had reservations for like 6 days at this nice hotel, and we get there, and the whole thing is non-smoking.
Oh, God forbid.
Exactly. I went back out there and said, baby, we're going to have to walk outside to smoke for 6 days. She's like, oh, fuck that. It was February. It was cold, and it was right after her ankle surgery, so she wasn't getting around very good anyway. We had to find another place to stay. And it's incredibly difficult to find a smoking room in a hotel in St. Louis. It really is. But there was this Motel 6 that was down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, huh? Man, that motherfucker was gross.
You even say Motel 6, and I assume it's gross.
The scariest night of my life.
Oh man, but it was such a long day. It was one of those like, I don't give a fuck, just get me a bed and that's it, and that's all.
And Bill wanted to have sex.
But yeah, we went in there. It was gross walking in. But then for whatever reason, I had to reach underneath the bed, and the next morning she had kicked a slipper or something underneath the bed. And there was like a ½ inch of what looked like melted suckers, a big puddle of this nasty, sticky shit. Like somebody poured out like a gallon of fucking maple syrup under this bed. It was just disgusting.
It was bad.
Oh, it was horrible.
All that just to smoke?
It was bad.
Yeah. Well, she is without her cigarettes, man. She gets fucking cranky.
Jeez.
But man, I mean, as soon as I reached under that bed, pulled that slipper out of there, all sticky and shit. I was like, oh, fuck no, back up, we're the fuck out of here. We had one night's sleep. We will find someplace else before the sun sets tonight.
That sounds terrible.
We did upstairs.
Oh, yeah. That was we went down the street to Stratford House.
Oh, that's right.
Which was no picnic, but it was not nearly that fucking gross. Yeah, that Motel 6 room, that was the nastiest place by far we were ever in.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
By far. But with you were talking about some of the places we lived. That place over on Stagecoach. Oh yeah, Settlement too when we were first got there.
Well, Settlement when we first got there for sure. I mean, that place was 4 walls and not a lot else.
All we could afford.
But it was ours.
It's all we could afford.
That place was a shithole, that's for sure.
Hey.
It was. We made it better, but
it was camping.
It was safe.
You guys have heard me tell that story about 2 years with no running water.
Yeah.
That was Settlement.
That's when you find out who loves you.
That was rough.
It was safe, and it was ours. It was all we could afford.
You pray for rain so we could run out and take a shower.
And
it wasn't a half bad place once we got done.
Yeah.
But it started out very rough.
Taking showers on the front porch in the rain.
Yep.
That's how private it was.
Praying for rain.
It was in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, we were out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Kinds of shit out there.
All in buckets and 3-liter bottles of water home every evening.
That was the worst, man. I hated going and filling them things up all the time.
Remember the stove was on concrete blocks for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
I remember.
Yep.
And that was the place that had the scorpions.
Oh!
We shared the room with scorpions.
That little mother. I'll tell you what. I can't think of much of my life that's hurt me like that.
I'm glad I never got stung.
Man, that son of a bitch right on the underside of my belly. Damn, that hurt. I still remember that.
So
jumping up out of
talk about like spiders being scary, but like you could deal with a spider. Like spiders are creepy, but like they're almost like normalized inside the house, right? Like you see a little spider, odds are it's not a particularly dangerous one or anything. Most of the widows and whatnot come in. Well, I mean, we had some wood tarantulas. There's not about that, but those things are scary, but they can't really hurt you. They don't have like poison.
I didn't know that at the time.
But you step on a scorpion. Scorpions.
Or it stings you right here on the bottom.
That's a whole nother level of that. That's not meant to be in the house.
Go.
And apparently they quite hurt. Like I say, I never got stung by one, but apparently it hurts a lot.
But we never went hungry, and stayed safe and dry and alive.
Yeah, we made it through the other side, that's for sure.
Yeah, and now look.
I was trying to think of like a dingiest place I would call type of thing, Chico, but Chico probably was I mean, Chico at least had running water, but that's about all it had over Settlement. Chico, I mean, you're not from the Arkansas area, you may not know, about Chico, but Chico is not a place where any human should live, really, realistically anymore. They did this. The way I always find the easiest to describe Chico, years ago, HBO did a documentary series called "Bangin' in Little Rock" about gang violence in Little Rock, and Chico Road was one of the main places they talked about. And it's a crime-ridden, very low income. Mostly trailers and low income housing. I mean, it was a very bad area. And we lived there for a time.
Yeah.
Nothing bad ever happened, thankfully, but
we stayed to ourselves and we stayed in and
yeah.
None of bad happened. My car got
Okay, well, I don't remember that, but as my memory tells it, I think I was the only white kid in the whole neighborhood. It was a rough area, but going through that kind of stuff helps you appreciate what you have now. You know, how far you've come in life. So, you know, I could tell a lot of stories about crazy living conditions, but now here we are. You know, not the nicest house in the neighborhood, but not the worst house either. You know, and definitely worth more in terms of value than any house I thought we would ever own.
And it's all for you.
So we're doing all right these days. We're making it. Yeah, I know. You hear the title "Banging in Little Rock." It doesn't sound like it's going to be a gang violence type of deal, but trying to think of any other major stories to tell. I mean, we told the skipping school, and I guess we touched on the trip up to Utah and stuff like that. Got the Six Flags stories in there, which is always a favorite. I always love telling the story of how I punched the cat in the face.
No.
What?
That's,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Unexpected.
It was unexpected. It was funny. It was fucking funny.
Unexpected.
Because Sylvester all sprawled out on the ground.
A 4-year-old.
If money was no concern, what would be your ideal family vacation? That's an interesting one.
Probably everybody's would be different.
Yeah, there'd probably be some differences, but
I think I would go to Switzerland or Finland, something like that.
But do you want to go there for a specific reason, or you just want to go there because you like that band?
Well,
I mean, it's a fair question.
Yeah, okay. I want to go there because I want to see Switzerland. I heard that, you know, the places that all the rich people go to ski and everything are beautiful. You know, the little villages. I think it would be really neat to go shopping there. You know,
my mom always wanted to go to Switzerland.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down with Switzerland, but
and of course, Poets of the Fall is.
I say your band is over there.
My band is there.
One of the first people I ever met on the internet that became a friend of mine, and what really got me addicted to the internet was the fact that one of the first people I ever met online was a guy from Finland, and I was like, this is too fucking cool. Like I have a friend from Finland, you know, like this is in the early days of the internet, you know, obviously, like this wasn't like such common occurrence, you know, to meet people online and stuff like that. And I was that just fascinated me. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I got this friend from Finland, asked him all these questions about where he lived and what his life is like and all this other stuff. It got me really interested in the world and meeting people almost immediately when I got on the internet. So in a way, going to Finland would be kind of like a
fun thing to do,
a full circle journey in a kind of a way.
I could go to Europe if security was not a concern. I could spend a lot of time in Europe. I'd love to go to Italy just to eat. I'd love to take one of those boat rides down the Rhine River. I'd love to go to Switzerland.
Egypt.
My great grandfather was from Switzerland. My mom always wanted to go there.
Egypt just will never feel right. It'd be
I don't
nice.
think there's no security in the world to get me in Egypt.
It'd be nice if you could just go to Egypt and not be nervous.
That's a VR journey right there. Come on.
Yeah, I take VR journeys, but Egypt would be really neat to see, I think.
I could spend about 2 weeks on a beach somewhere swimming in the ocean and drinking funky drinks. But Mom's not really a beach person.
No, I'd rather be in the mountains.
I'd love to spend some time on a beach or something, but
I could spend a week at Yellowstone easily.
I saw my brother when he was 7 years old come running out of the ocean in Florida with a jellyfish wrapped around his leg, screaming.
That can happen.
I will never stick my toe in that water.
I'd have thought you'd have said like Scotland to go play golf.
Well, yeah, if they'll let me on at St. Andrews, I'm in. But, you know.
If money's not an option,
Well, okay, then. I'm with
you
you.
buy your way onto St. Andrews.
Okay. Well, we can kick over to Scotland while we're in Egypt.
You want to go to the birthplace of the golfing land.
Oh, wow.
What's that?
I'd personally, I've always wanted to. I mean, obviously, like Europe, you know. I mean, you'd love to go to Italy and eat, you know, probably amazing food. You know, you'd love to go to maybe France for similar reasons, food and stuff like that. I've always kind of wanted to see Ireland, you know, because it's supposed to be so pretty there. And if you're over there by Scotland anyway, you know,
Sure.
you know, you might as well see Scotland and Ireland.
I just got done reading all those Lost Kingdom books. Those are, you know, a lot of the stuff in there or the battles are historical. They actually happen. You can go to the places
Right. Yeah.
where all those battles happen. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of history on them isles.
Just to see the, you know, geography of it and everything, you know.
I like to go to the countries that have all them street food, like Japan.
Yeah, they have a lot of Asian countries, Singapore and
they have all them vendors out on
Thailand and places like that.
Really fun.
First time somebody gave you something that said fish balls, it'd be into you.
I ain't eating fish balls.
Pew says her travel wishes are also based on food.
I heard that about Iceland. Somebody that I went to school with went to Iceland. He said it was spectacular.
I could see Iceland being cool. I mean, I watched that Will Ferrell movie where they spend about half of it in Iceland, and just what they showed was pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, Time Team's pretty cool. You might like Time Team. I told you about it a little bit. You might not remember, but it's these British guys that go around and do excavations all over the place, and like each episode is like a new excavation thing that they do.
Funny like the farm show. I love the farm show.
Yeah, I mean it's lighthearted. I mean, I wouldn't say it's focused on comedy, but
did y'all watch the farm show?
I don't know, did you?
No, I haven't watched the farm thing yet.
Oh, you gotta watch
Jake was just watching it though, and said he's loving it too.
Oh, so. It's hilarious.
Yeah, we both liked it.
Yep.
Clarkson's Farm or whatever it is.
Clarkson's Farm. Oh my God, that show's hilarious.
Hey, welcome in, your guy Andrew. How you doing this evening? A World War II base trip would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of watching documentaries and movies and all kinds of stuff on World War II. There's definitely a lot of ground you could cover there. Yeah, that's right. He was telling me about the big fuzzy sheep nuts.
Yeah. Oh, and he's got a pet cow. Didn't have the heart to kill the cow. Couldn't set it off to make steaks out of it. He's got a pet cow.
That'd be Mom.
Yep.
What, a pet cow?
Couldn't kill the cow.
Name and everything. No.
Couldn't slaughter the cow.
Oh no, we don't kill cows.
You remember the famous chicken naming incidents?
There have been many incidents with Mom over the years.
Yeah. The goat was my favorite. So.
Yeah, the goat.
I love goats.
Poor Fred.
Fred was the goat.
Fred was the goat.
Yeah.
Fred the goat.
Ruined through no choice of his own.
I had a good time. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm headed in. Had a busy day.
Okay, Mama Rev's taking off.
Yeah. Good night, y'all.
She's an early to bed, early to rise type.
Yeah, I got to get up at 5 and work.
Oh, you can. I mean,
Bill will bring that.
Okay, that's fine.
Bill can hang out with you. I'm taking my dog and going.
My dad wanted to have chickens around so we could breed them and eat them, and I was like, bro, there's no way I'm looking at these chickens all day and eating one after I've named it.
No.
Yeah, we had that plan at one point too. It didn't work out.
For eggs, we weren't really going to eat them, but we had too many neighborhood predators.
Everybody says good night.
Dogs and weasels and.
Yeah, we were mostly looking for eggs, but.
Need my pot.
I don't know where you put it.
Gotta get high, so.
Gotta get high.
Gotta get high.
Don't want to get high.
Go Tolly.
Still an old hippie, as you can tell. We tried really hard to deal with the chickens, but like we had whatever foxes or something that just kept getting in there and murdering them all.
Yep.
You know, like we just could not keep the predators out. It was tough. We didn't even get a chance to grow attached to them.
Luckily, we have neighbors across the street that keep chickens, so we get brown eggs usually in season.
Yeah, we get eggs here now. Yeah, my mom's dream, if money were no object, would be some sort of huge farm full of animals. I mean, she'd want to rescue dogs and cats. She'd want to have everything under the shining sun she could get her hands on as far as animals go. That's what she'd do all day, every day.
Yep. Deborah ever wins the lottery. That's what's happening for me.
Yeah. You're on your way to a farm somewhere.
Yep.
To keep or eat? No, to keep. She won't eat it. She barely likes meat as it is. If she sees like raw hamburger or like raw steak, she's like, oh, that's disgusting. You know, like she don't even like looking at the raw form of the meat. She just wants dad to present it to her in its finalized form.
When we lived out in Reno, we went to the grocery store, and you know, when you go from place to place, from region to region, they have different things in the grocery stores. Well, in Reno, they have whole pig heads.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. I'll never forget that as long as she was hysterical. I mean, it was like one of those deals where the meat box, the meat refrigerators were the whole length of one side of the store, you know. And I'm way down at one end. I'm looking at, whatever, pricing chickens or, hamburger or whatever, and she wanders off. She's about 50 or 60 feet down the way. And all of a sudden, she's just screaming uncontrollably. I'm like, what the fuck? There's nobody around her. It's like anybody's molesting her, beating up on her or nothing. She's just freaking the fuck out. I run down there like, what? She's pointing. Fucking pig's head in a white tray with the plastic wrap all around it. It scared the living shit out of her. So I guess I probably shouldn't laugh at her, but it was funny.
It's a funny story. I just remembered we haven't told. That's one of our favorite stories.
What's that?
When you shot yourself in the foot. That's a great story to tell.
That was a classic. Boy, she was pissed off at me.
Yeah, I'll bet she was.
Yep. We had, when we had the restaurant still, our friends, Tammy and Casey, we were saying used to come over and play cards with us for the whole weekend. Well, it was the Tammy and Casey weekend. And they got there, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock or something. And the restaurant didn't close until 9. And I told her, I said, just, let the employees close it up. You don't have to stay there till the end. It's fine. Come home. She wouldn't do it. It was Friday night. She's like, oh, no, it's busy. I'm staying. But finally, about 7 o'clock, we got tired of waiting on her. So I called her at the restaurant. I told her, I said, baby, you got to come home. She's like, what's the matter? I told her, I said, I shot myself in the foot. Because Casey, we lived way out in the country. Casey always liked to bring his guns to shoot when he came to our house. So it was not out of the ordinary that we would have been playing with a gun and drinking. So I told her, I said, I shot myself in the foot. Like, oh, you got to go to the hospital. I said, no, we can't go to the hospital. The gun ain't Casey's. It ain't legal. If we go to the hospital, Casey's going to end up in jail. We can't. You got to come home. I said, it's just, right at the very front of my foot. It's through and through. I ain't going to die. It's going to be fine. Just get the fuck home. Well, in reality, what happened was we got a roll of gauze and we wrapped it about 2 or 3 times around my foot. And then we put a bunch of ketchup in the middle and we wrapped it 4 or 5 times more and we wrapped up my foot. And she gets home, man. I mean, she flew ass home. Land speed record getting home. But we got home, and I'm playing it, man. I'm gimping around the house and like, oh, sit down. I gotta see it. So I put my foot up on the thing, and she's being all careful unwrapping it, and I'm playing it like I'm dying. She gets to the ketchup layer, and she looked at it a little funny, and she went around 2 more times, and the rest of it came off, and there was nothing but regular foot there. I thought she was gonna beat me half to damn death. But we were playing cards within about 15 minutes.
She got over it.
Yeah, she got over it pretty quick. We gave her a drink and set her down at the card table, and it was all good. But it was funny as hell, man. Everybody was just dying, man, playing it to the max. It was a classic. We love her.
We do. We love her.
We laugh at her expense often, but we love her.
She's fun, man. She makes it. I'd say it's the same thing I tell Pew. You know, you make us laugh, Pew.
Yeah,
you're fun.
She asks me all the time, why do you love me? Because you're fucking funny. Cute, you're funny.
You can't teach that.
That's right.
You know, it's just a natural ability.
Shit.
Classic.
Yep, that was a winner.
But of all your jokes, I get it. No.
She just spontaneously does things that are hilarious.
I say speedbalking. That was random. I'll tell you the story of that. We fully get the context. We were playing this game Battlefield. One of the things you could do is you could put down an object called a spawn beacon. You know, and what it does is it lets people on your team spawn on that spot. You know, so we were in the middle of this crazy firefight inside this building. There was a lot going on in Pew's defense. It was very hectic.
Yeah.
You know, there's windows everywhere. Dudes were like jumping in random windows. It's like a John Wick movie.
Yeah.
You know, like shit's just crazy. And she's getting flustered, and we're all like, you know, swiveling back and forth trying to kill all these guys. And then she just yells out, "They're just speedbalking!" And we're like, "What? What is this speedbalking?" So now I can't call it anything else. Like, it's just every time I see one, I'm like speedbalking. You know? So it's become one of the 14 like jokes of our gameplay sessions. Yeah, and then I made a graphic of the speedbalking, this little Pew Badger with the spawn beacon. Very, very sloppily drawn together paint project. What about you guys? You guys got any other specific questions in mind?
Like, throw that old man out. Let us play a fucking game.
No, nobody wants you to go away. Everybody's having a good time.
Okay, well, good. Actually, you're the only one that can hear. I have to assume that you're not lying to me.
Oh, I mean, you see as much as I see. It's just the chat. There's nothing to hear. Except for when somebody subs or something.
Oh, you can't hear folks talking over there?
No.
Oh.
No, it's just us.
Oh, okay. I don't know how this works.
I mean, I can hear that. Somebody just played a clip.
You told them about the letter that got me into a fight?
I don't know that I've ever told that story. I mean, it's not much of a story, but, you know.
Not much of a story.
Oh, it's just not a lot to it.
Are you kidding me?
You know, it was a cool moment, for sure.
It was fun.
But yeah, I mean, I could tell that story. So when I come down, am I getting treated to an awesome Rev Fam dinner? I mean,
hell yeah.
That's what we always do. We feed people.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's
one thing about coming to my house. You will not leave hungry.
Yeah, I mean, feeding people is just what we do. I mean, that's really Nectamar's request every year. We sent him some
cookies.
We sent him Christmas cookies one year when he was in Kuwait. To do something nice while he was overseas, and now every year he's like, "When are them cookies coming, though? Where the cookies at?"
Yeah, man. I don't think we got you cookies last year, Nectamar. I'm sorry.
No, we took last year off because there was
house is under construction.
Yeah, we didn't really have the facilities to do cookies, unfortunately. But
we'll have that fixed by this year. You'll get your cookies this year, Nectamar.
But yeah, so a couple of years ago, they did a radio contest on the local radio station, and they called it "My Dad Can Beat Up Your Dad." And it was, you know, two dads were going to be picked to have a boxing match, and your, you know, objective was to write in and tell them why your dad should be in the boxing match. and the winner would get like all expenses paid, like vacation to Hot Springs and a whole bunch of other little gifts and doodads and stuff that were thrown in there. And it was really not. I mean, it was kind of right after she had breast cancer,
say it was
right?
more than a couple of years ago, because it was when she was having chemo. Because remember in the pictures, she's bald.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But she was not
several
well.
years ago.
She was in the middle of cancer treatment, and we were poor folks at the time. You know, we were really struggling.
We're always poor folks.
But it was like a weekend getaway, and there was, you know, nice dinners to several nice restaurants in town, and it was just all stuff that really she could use at the time. Would have really made her feel better. Get her, you know, let her get out and break the monotony of feeling like shit all the time from cancer treatment.
Yeah, it would have been nice, you know, and not to mention, you know, like I said, we're poor folk, not like they get to go on vacation very often anyway. So, you know, I emailed in a letter that I don't remember all the specifics of, but, you know, a lot of it was about.
I have it up in the drawer. I can go get it and read it right now. But I won't. It was very sweet. He made me sound very good.
Well, I didn't lie about anything, but, you know, but I wrote a letter in saying, you know, that my mom had breast cancer, and, you know, it's a very tough time, and, you know, how my dad was, you know, the rock during all these hard times, and taking care of my mom and taking her to treatment, and, you know, everything that he was, you know, doing to keep the family together during these, you know, tough times. And, you know, I think he should, you know, be in the contest. And they ended up picking my letter and another guy's. Which it was kind of funny when we got there, because, you know, we get to the place where they're going to do it, and they were doing it out in front of this
porn shop,
adult novelty store. And we get there, and we meet the other dad, and the other dad apparently no idea this was happening. Like he's like out of town doing like business or something. Excuse me. And he shows up, like, he gets home like the night before, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, you got to go to like have a boxing match tomorrow. You know? And he's like, what? You know, so we get there and we meet this guy, and like, you know, like my dad knew for a while, you know, so he was like sort of like prepping himself, you know, mentally and whatnot for this whole thing. But the other guy had like no warning, you know, so I mean, he's sitting over there with his family, like chain smoking, you know, he's like nervous as hell. He's like, I don't know, I don't want to be here, you know, like
this dude. I mean, he was young. His kids were little bitty. His kids were like 5 or 6 years old, and he was 29, and he was 6'6". He was a big son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
You know, and I was about 45 at the time, I guess, something like that.
Something like that.
You know, I mean, I was not a spring chicken. You know, but I had a chance to beat somebody up to get goodies for the old lady, and there was no way I was going to lose. No way.
And it was such a weird thing, you know, because
it was broadcast live on the radio.
Yeah, it was on the radio and everything, and you know, we all came down, and our buddy Jack came down and whatnot, and but the way they did it was so just janky, you know. It was like they just put a tarp down on the grass and had them like kind of stay within the tarp. But like, you know, and like he mentioned, this guy's like 6'6" or something, you know, his reach is much longer. He's a much like longer guy, you know, which in the boxing world is a pretty big advantage. But normally, you know, your advantage as a smaller, stouter guy is to get him into a corner against the ropes, something like that. But there were no corners and there were no ropes, you know? And so like from our perspective at the time, as we're watching this fight happen, was every time my dad would really close the distance on him, he would back up and step off the tarp, and then the guy would have to jump in and be like, oh, you know, reset, you know, and like put him back in the space, you know. And at the time I'm thinking he's going to lose this fight just because he can't get close to the guy. You know, every time he tries to land a good hit on him, the guy steps back and gets scared, and you know, they end up having to reset it, you know. And they get through like the first round, and I don't even know if they ever said what they would have scored the first round, but regardless, the first round happens, and then it was after the second round, wasn't it?
No, it was after the first.
Was it after the first round? It was. I couldn't remember if it was at the end of the second round or the start of the second round, but like you know, they get through the first round, and I'm worried that that's just gonna be the continuing trend of this whole thing. But then he quits. The other guy just quits. He's like, I'm done. And we're just like, what? What do you mean you gave? It's only been like one round, you know, like he's given up, you know? And like, I didn't get it, you know, I didn't understand, like, you know, maybe he just, you know, I thought at the time maybe he's just out of shape or something, you know? I'm like, I don't know. It's just one round. He's, you know, he's clearly very nervous, but maybe just not much of a fighter. And then our buddy Jack, who was there with us, told us later on that he ran into the guy like almost immediately after, like an hour or something, or 30 minutes or something later.
The gas station down the street.
Yeah, at the gas station. And he went up and talked to the guy, and he was like, oh, you know, you were the guy, you were just there, you were fighting my friend. And he told us that the guy told him that my dad hit him with a body shot to the ribs that really fucked him up. And I didn't see it at the time. You know, I didn't register that something like that had really happened. And then it took a while, took like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 months, but they eventually got us the video recording of the whole thing. And you could see it more in the video where he hit him with some pretty good body shots. And I was like, all right, well, hell, maybe you did really stop him, because, you know, at the time it looked like you just weren't even really getting your chance to get any shots in. But I mean, there were a couple there I must have missed in all the, you know, the shenanigans.
We won. We got our little vacation. It was nice.
Yeah.
All got away.
They had a great time, and they went down and ate at all these cool restaurants. The thing I guess I always remember is that chef guy that you met down there with the container of spice, whatever the hell it was that you brought back.
Yeah,
had some sort of great rub.
Yeah. That was the cancer retreat up at Rockefeller's place up at Pettigene. That's where I got that from.
Oh, was that not that trip? I thought it was that trip.
No. That was when we went to the cancer retreat for her.
Papa Rev, a boxing natural. Well, he was undefeated.
Retired undefeated. And the official unbeaten, untied 1037 The Buzz boxing champion.
Yeah. those guys that were on that show, they got
fired a week later.
They were maniacs. Yeah, they got fired for something.
They were passing out gay porn videotapes at the gay pride parade in Conway.
Oh,
That's why they got fired for passing out gay porn at the pride parade in Conway.
Yeah,
like 4 days after this boxing thing, the whole lot of them got canned.
they were nuts, man.
It was funny.
Holding a dad boxing match in front of an adult, you know, sex shop.
The thing was with these knuckleheads, they had it in front of this adult, video porn store, but they had not told anybody. The people that ran the store knew because they were sponsoring the thing, but they had not get a permit from the city or told the cops about it or nothing. You know, and the cops started getting calls. It was as soon as the thing was over, all these cop cars come to the place. They're like, we have reports of men out here fighting on the street. I'm like, dude, it's a radio stunt. It's okay. You know, but they was ready to haul us all of us off to jail over it. Because they didn't, he's like, dude, you should have got a permit for this. I'm like, don't tell me, go tell that guy.
I just showed up to fight.
Yeah. I just showed up when he told me to.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience, despite how much of a clusterfuck it was.
It was a highly unorganized operation, but
yeah,
we collected our bag of goodies and got the hell out.
I guess you could say that's really one of the only contests I've ever won.
Yeah.
At least I got a chance to influence the odds in my favor.
Yeah. You won the chair. Won that chair that time. The orange gaming chair. Won that. Unless it was another line of bullshit like skipping school. Time's getting to me.
It is 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
8:02.
All right. Well, baseball's coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cardinals start at 8:30. So.
Is that your primary concern right now?
Huh? Well, no. I don't want to keep you guys from your stuff. I mean,
you're not keeping us from anything. This is your gig. This is for you.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Yeah.
You're our favorite
This is a small,
being a pirate is a recipe. Do what you want.
Glimpse into your alternative timeline.
Could have been, yeah.
Yeah, your alternative timeline.
Doc Brown sent me back.
Yeah, we gotta go back.
Okay. I'm extremely jealous that he gets to sit out here and do this every night, because when I was a kid, most kids, they don't want to be a policeman or a fireman or whatever else. All I ever wanted to be was a DJ. I wanted to be on the radio my whole life. And I went to school for it. I completed about half the school for it. But then I met my first wife, and that was the end of that. I decided to be a cook for a living, but yeah, that's all I ever wanted to be. And I'm so jealous that he gets to do this. It's like he gets to live my dream. As long as he waited for this. God, we heard about this for years when we lived in Arkansas. But the internet was so shitty that he couldn't do it down there. But
yeah, so in case you guys think I'm making it up when I said I've been wanting to do this for like over 10 years.
No, I've been hearing about this since he was, 16, 17 years old, something like that?
It's a long time ago. Long time.
Long time.
Way before Twitch was around.
Yep. But see, I'm extremely jealous that you get to do this every night. Although I did get to have my radio show. I did get
you did get to have your day.
I did. I had my day. I had 3 days or 3 hours of the top news station in Little Rock one day, all for myself. I could talk about whatever I wanted. It was my own little slice of dream. But again, another contest. I had to write a letter to get myself in.
Yeah.
But I got myself in, and I had a whole day. It was great. I still have it on recording someplace. I have the recording of it around here someplace.
No, and that's honestly like, talking to him, especially in the early days of the stream, was a lot about, what did he learn at like broadcasting school, and, stuff about, thinking about like dead air and, all that kind of stuff, a lot of things that you got to think about when you're on the radio. I kind of took some of that knowledge that he had to apply to the stream, and
he inherited the voice from me.
So, it was cool to be able to talk to him about that kind of stuff, because like I say, it was a dream that he had. I never really looked at streaming as like being like a DJ type of thing, but it does share a lot of crossover. There's a lot of crossover for sure. I mean, depending on the way you do your stream, there's a lot of, musical elements. There's a lot of the same talking elements. We seem to be heading in the direction of reading ads. It's what Twitch wants us to do now.
Really?
It's one of the options Twitch wants to make available.
Nice.
Letting streamers read ads.
Do you got to read them once and then they'll play them again, or do you got to read them live?
I would assume they're going to do it reading live, but I honestly don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
Man, that's big. That's big time right there.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a big enough streamer to really be included in that, but who knows what the future may hold. But I guess if I had the choice between reading an ad and blasting everybody with an ad that just interrupts the whole stream, I would rather read it. But I don't know. Who knows?
I say we used to have to make a little newscast. We had to write news stories and write commercials and that kind of stuff. When I went in there the very first night, I got accepted into broadcast school 3 days before I graduated high school.
Mm.
And when we went out there, they would record your voice to make sure that you had, decent timbre and whatnot. But one of the other things that they did was they wanted to hear you think on your feet. So they gave you a can of, it didn't matter what it was. It could have been a bottle of water or a cup or a can of hairspray or whatever, but they would tell you it was something completely different. And they're like, okay, here's your product. This is what it is. Make me a commercial. And you would have like a minute to stand there in front of them think on your feet and sell this product to them.
Wow. That would be hard.
It was pretty cool. But most of the people that were there, I mean, there was probably,
when you're new anyway,
I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 people that were there that night it was kind of a tryout, you know, or whatever, to get into the school.
Right.
And I was the only one that was 18 years old. The rest of them were 24, 25. They were college graduates, already had been to journalism school, whatnot, you know, and they're coming in for voice training, you know. But out of the bunch of us, they only took in 3, and I was one.
Guess you did a pretty good job selling that product.
Well, you know, I had the voice. But you would have to, you know, they would have you, you know, they would give you topics for several news stories. And you would have to write like a top of the hour newscast.
Right.
You know, and you'd read the first couple lines and the last couple lines and then read the commercial. Because the commercial was obviously the focus of the thing, you know. But the first few months you would just sit in the little booth with a cassette recorder, you know, and record your thing. And then the instructors would come around and get it, and they'd critique it and give it back to you the next time you came in, you know. But after you got, you know, a third of the way in or whatever, they would let you go downstairs where the mixing boards were, where you could actually make your commercial, you know, lay down your music and read your copy in the middle, you know, and you had to, you know, drop your level and raise your level, you know, and make a professional sounding commercial. That would be
a useful type of course to have even for streaming, for sure.
Yeah. It's you know, you had to watch the meters and stuff, make sure your levels weren't too high and you weren't, you know, bouncing out and whatnot. And
that's a lot of what I try to do here. I mean, you could see all this stuff here. You know, dialing in your levels and your gain and everything is a big part of the streaming thing too.
Yeah.
And that's tough. Like, audio is complicated. Audio is hard. Yeah. That's probably the hardest part about streaming. I still don't know that I think my audio is good.
Still to this day, I'd tell just about any lie to get into a radio studio. I am not kidding you. You know, they don't even have to let me talk. Just let me stand in there and watch it. I'm fascinated by it all. Always have been, always will be.
That's what I hoped that being on this would be fun, you know, because it's something like a radio. Yeah. Not as much fancy equipment, though you can get plenty of fancy equipment.
Yeah.
And bigger streamers certainly have much more complicated setups, but, you know.
I think we should do some podcasts.
Katie hitting us with, I don't know how many bits that was in total, but thank you for the biddies.
Oh, dude, you're red. Why are you red?
Thank you for the biddies, Katie. We were orange. That's our hydrate. They sprayed me with orange goo. We could change the color, but...
Nice.
And thank you for the head pads.
I love that part where they throw the shit at you. That's just hilarious.
Yeah, they love it too, believe me.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part.
One of the glories of VTubing.
Nice.
You can hear all the sound effects.
Space Mouse Marshmallow Midget. Oh, dude, you're piled up. That's awesome.
It's like it's like the like assistant dude on the Howard Stern movie, you know, with all the goofy sound effects and stuff. You know, they're doing the early days of Howard Stern.
I can't remember that guy's name.
No,
it ain't Jackie the Joke Man, but
no, Jackie the Joke Man was in the movie, but
Jackie the Joke Man is who?
It's kind of like that.
Play it like down here.
I can't say big cock, but you can say big cock coming out of my mouth.
That's good
stuff. Something about the coming out of your mouth. That's a funny movie. Just ridiculous. But yeah. Covered a lot of bases here for sure. Thank you for more biddies, Katie. How are you doing this evening, Katie? How are you doing better, Katie? I know you said a week or so ago that you weren't doing so good. Are you doing better? Did you get sorted out any of the trials and tribulations of life? I think I saw you came back to streaming again the other day. Hopefully that's a good sign. I did have that internship at the radio station when I was in college too that you were pretty jealous of. That was kind of a fun opportunity. I wouldn't say I learned a whole lot about broadcasting when I was there, but
where?
When I had that internship at the radio station.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one of those times I was very jealous of you. Fucker. Interning on Tommy Smith's show.
I didn't get to do, well, it wasn't Tommy's show. It was the guys who were more like Tommy's rivals, but it was Corey and Jay.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think they ever would have let a kid like me on Tommy Smith's show.
No, probably not.
No. It'd been fun, but but no, I was on Corey and Jay.
That's right.
That's right. But, you know, I was just, you know, assistant guy there. You know, I was manning the instant messenger and bringing them coffee. I wasn't so much learning anything about broadcasting, but you know, but it gives you like a sense of sort of like destiny of some kind. You know, I was moving in the direction.
Box grower, now I'm a qualified maybe chef.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I mean, if I had really ever had a huge interest in being on the radio specifically, you know,
tripping balls while washing pots was as good a place as any place.
You might need to trip balls to want to wash pots all night. That's for sure.
I got free pizza.
That helps.
Yeah.
Sure.
Got minimum wage and free pizza.
I can see that. I can see the advantage of that.
There wasn't nothing but a party going on afterwards.
Yeah, I've heard those stories many times. Yeah, like we were saying the other day, it's not I carried tile in there. It's like smoked weed there is the new.
Yeah, that's true. We're back home.
That's the new metric.
Yep. I partied over there.
I had a friend over there. We got high over there. We partied over here.
Yeah, he used to buy weed from that guy who lived over there.
Don't do as Papa Rev does, okay?
Hey, it's legal here.
Yeah, it's legal now.
Been smoking weed since I was in short pants. Good for me. Kept me alive.
The world finally saw some sense. That was one of the wildest. That was one of Jason. I don't know if I ever told you that or Jason ever told you that, but he always found that wild when we took him up to the Rams game that one time, and he's like, man, your dad's cool, man. We're like cruising down the highway. He's getting high. He's smoking.
I didn't kick his ass when he puked all over my fucking bathroom.
Yeah, that was quite the incident.
That was unfortunate. Although I did that one time. That's why I couldn't get too mad at him. I did the very same thing at a friend of mine's house when I was in like 8th grade.
Pretty much the same time period then.
Yeah. This kid, his name was Kent Foley. I spent the night at his house, and it was. I remember clearly because it was 1976. There was bicentennial beer, Falstaff bicentennial beer, and his dad would buy 24 cases of beer at a time, and they kept them down in the cellar.
24 cases? Damn.
Yeah, he bought in bulk. You know, but there was a big old stack of cases of beer down there, and we threw up one of the basement windows and pushed a case of beer out. You know, the outside when it got dark, we were out in the yard, because his folks were cool. They didn't haggle with us. He had a big place out in the woods. We sat down at the creek and we drank nearly that whole case of bicentennial beer between two of us, and it was not cold. We were drinking it warm. Oh, it was unfortunate. But we went back in the house, and his folks were nice, like, oh, go on, sit down for a minute, talk, honk, honk, honk. I'd sit down at the kitchen table with his mom and dad and him, and all of a sudden the room starts to spin. Like, oh shit, this is bad. This is very bad. Clutching the chair with everything I've got so I don't fall off it. You know, and finally it's like, man, there's no stopping this.
It's happening.
It's like I got to go to the bathroom, you know, and I got about 3 steps down the hall and boom, all over the wall, all over the floor. Oh man, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. But she's real nice about it. She never said a word. You know, she didn't. Not the next morning. She didn't look at me stupid. She made me breakfast. She was just nice as pie. She was just the sweetest lady about it. You know, but man, I made a mess in that lady's hallway. It was not cool. It was not cool at all. That was my warm beer lesson. Learned early and learned well.
Wow.
It's one thing I'm not going to work out in Scotland or England. They'd better have cold beer. That ground temperature shit ain't going to fly.
I mean, I've never been obviously much of a beer drinker, and I've never had a throw up incident, but I mean that's
okay. I've had enough for everybody.
That one with Jason was pretty fucking extreme.
Oh man, that was
a rough night.
That was a New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. We had hot wings.
Yeah, there were all kind of unfortunate things going on.
Yeah, there were little chicken chunks everywhere.
God, yeah. And my mom was retching and Jack was retching, so me and Sandy ended up having to clean the whole thing up.
Yeah. It was Jack's. I mean, Jack was the one making the drinks, so Jason was having too much
out of everything. Little of this, little of that. Yeah, the head swims cocktail.
Yeah. That was always a funny story to tell, because not only did he puke all over the place in the bathroom, but somehow he managed to get vomit on the ceiling. I don't know how that's possible, but he found a way.
This shit was everywhere. That shit was everywhere.
It was some exorcist shit. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. It kind of killed the vibe.
Just in case you're wondering whatever happened to Jason, he married this gal that makes a fuck ton of money, and they go to Davos every year.
Yeah.
That's what happened there.
Jason ended up all right.
Yeah. And Jason goes on vacation every year to WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a stay-at-home dad, takes care of all the kids, and the wife makes fat bank. He's happy, to say the least. He's a happy guy. He's a good dude. He was my best friend growing up. I have one kind of funny story about Jason that's sort of interesting, I guess you could say. He was my best friend in high school, and he was a big wrestling guy, boxing guy, all kind of stuff like that. And I want to say, yeah, for sure, like earlier in the year, he had run into a rash of incidents where we were going to a track meet, because I was considering doing the field part of track and field. You know, I was going to throw like shot put or something. And we were going to a track meet. And I don't know what set it off, because I've told the stories about my high school before, about how there used to be a lot of racial issues and stuff like that, that got resolved more later on. But at that time, like there was a lot of, stupid fights over stupid racial stuff and whatever. And I don't know how, Jason ends up getting involved, but something gets said to the wrong person or something. I want to say like he was trying to sit on the bus to go to the track meet, and some kid wouldn't move his leg off the seat or something. So he like reaches down and pushes his leg out of the way. And then like 3 or 4 of his friends like jump on him like instantly. And they're just like beating the hell out of him, and he's beating the hell out of the one guy who wouldn't move. And he ends up like, into a fight with the guy that wouldn't move, like knocking him unconscious, and then 3 or 4 guys punching him in the face. He gets all tore up. One guy had like a ring on or something, so he's got like cut something below his eye. He's still got like a scar from it, And he's just like, they finally like they're pulling everybody out the bus. The coaches get in there, they pull him out. And he's still like, like adrenaline ready to go. He's like screaming at him and calling them pussies, and fucking 1v1, you ain't got no balls and all this other stuff. you know, and he looks like a madman because he's like, his face is cut up, he's bleeding all over the place, and you know, this one kid on the bus is unconscious, you know, and he's still like trying to fight. So he gets this like a little bit of like a reputation all of a sudden, you know, as being like something of a badass. And he gets into another fight not long after that, like 2 or 3 weeks later at a skating ring with some other kid over some stupid stuff, and like ends up like knocking the hell out of this guy, you know? And it's just like, I'm just like, brother, what's going on, man? Like, you're just getting in all these fights all of a sudden. He's like, I don't know, man, I'm not starting nothing. You know, but you know, if somebody wants to throw down, I'm going to defend myself. And I'm like, you know, fair enough. And so we end up at a party a little while after that. And I'm always the driver. You know, my parents always trusted me to have the car. So I would drive everybody everywhere. If me and Jason went anywhere, I'd drive. And at this point, you know, we're going to a party and I know there's going to be people drinking. So I'm like, I'm not going to drink. You know, I'm not a big drinker anyway. I'll drive. But we get there, and there was this kid who was one of our friends who was into boxing, and he opens up the back of his truck, or what's probably his parents' truck, and pulls out a couple of pairs of boxing gloves. And he's like, who wants to spar? You know, who wants to throw down? You know, let's get some like fun little boxing sparring matches in here, you know? And like immediately Jason's like, I want to fight Charlie. You know? And I'm just like, I don't want to fight. Like, what do you mean? You know? And he's like, dude, we're fighting, you know? And he's not drunk, but he's been drinking a little bit, you know? So I'm like, I don't really want to fight you, you know, when you're not even entirely sober. And he's like, I'm fine. Everything's, you know, good. Let's do this, you know? And I'm just getting like pushed into it. And I'm like, all right, fine. You know? So the only thing I tell him is like, don't hit me in the nose, you know? Let's not have any busted noses out here, you know? Everything else fine. So like, we're kind of, you know, circling around each other and whatnot and doing our, you know, poking here, poking there, but I'm not really like fighting him. You know, I'm mostly kind of blocking and dodging because like, I'm still thinking he's like kind of, you know, wasted a little bit, you know, and I don't really want to hit him, you know, and he's getting mad. He's like, hit me. Why won't you hit me? You know? So he starts trying to hit me in the nose to piss me off. You know, and he succeeds. So I get pissed off. So I hit him like one really good time right in the face, you know, right in the jaw. And he like stumbles and almost falls over. And he's like, all right, I'm done. You know, and I maintained, you know, for, you know, the moment I was like, oh, you know, he stepped in a hole or something. You know, I didn't actually hit him that hard because I didn't even really like full out like deck him or anything. At least I didn't think so. You know, so I was like, oh, he just tripped or something, you know. But then he, you know, like after we, you know, take the gloves off and everything, he's like, no. He hit me. He knocked the fuck out of me. Like, I'm done. He's like, I saw stars, man. I was done. And I was like, really? Like, didn't think I really hit you that hard. But I don't know. Maybe I just hit you just right. But, you know.
The first time you made Kenneth see stars.
Yeah, I did knock the hell out of Kenneth.
I'll never forget that as long as I live. That was hilarious. I thought he was going to shit himself.
That was a big turning point in in the brother wars,
yeah,
so to speak.
When your 13-year-old brother knocks your 20-year-old brother out.
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of basically what happened. You know, because like I mentioned before, you know, but I mean, to finish off that story, I mean, obviously, like he gets this reputation as being like a badass, and then I almost knock him out with one punch. So now everybody's like, all right, you know, don't fuck with him, you know. And then we had a funny, similar story with my brother. Like I say, you know, as I always said, my brother was 7 years older than me. So most of my life, he's bigger, stronger, you know, just by virtue of the fact he's older. You know, he's gone through puberty. I haven't. So a lot of my childhood growing up, fighting with my brother was always pretty much a losing battle. You know, I never really won fights with my brother. But then we got into it one time, and it was kind of a similar situation where I didn't want to hit him, but he kept fucking with me and trying to get me to hit him.
You got out of line with your mom.
You know, and he kept causing some issues. And then, yeah.
He got out of line with mom.
Did he?
Yeah. That's what got you two going. He said something sideways to your mother. And somebody was going to hit him, and it probably shouldn't have been me. So it was you. But I'll never forget that. He fucking talking stupid, and all of a sudden that hand came up and clocked him right on the chin. I thought his eyes rolled back. It's like, whoa, what the fuck?
I clocked him a good one, and then
that was the end of that.
He never wanted to fight me again.
Nope.
That was the end of that.
That's right. My dad used to say, I hit you, you hit the floor.
I could remember some pretty knockdown fights between the two of us over the years. But I never wanted to fight anybody, you know, like I was never a violent person. I never had much interest in actually hurting somebody. But every time I've been in a situation where somebody has gotten hurt because of me, it's when they just, for whatever reason,
wouldn't fucking shut up.
Wouldn't take no for an answer. You know, it's like, do you really want me to hit? Okay, I mean, I guess I've got to hit you. You know, I don't know why you won't, you know, bear the warning here, but you know, like I think the only other major, somewhat violent incident I had in like high school was a kid that wouldn't stop fucking with me, and I kept telling him, like, you know, just stop. You know, like I don't want to have to hurt you. And he did something like he slapped me or something when it was cold out, you know, like hurt like a motherfucker, probably hurt more than he intended it to, you know. And I always had this like way of handling people that would fuck with me in those days, you know, because they would always, you know, because I was always a big guy, I always had like weight issues and stuff like that, and all the stuff with my disability that we found out years later that would cause a lot of problems for me. So people would fuck with me and they'd be like, oh, you can't catch me. You know, you're too slow. You're too fat, you know? And I'd be like, I don't have to catch you. You know, one day you're going to slip, you know, you're going to forget. You're going to think this is all in the past, but I'm going to remember, you know? And that's what happened to that guy too. You know, one day I just walked up behind him when he was in the middle of a conversation and just slugged him dead in the middle of his back. And I hit him so hard you could hear the echo. You know, and I mean, he just folded. You know, he was like, "What the fuck, man?" I'm like, "Remember when you slapped me?" You know, I told you was gonna forget. You know, and you forgot.
Yep. Head now. It's just time for Cardinal baseball.
All right, go watch your baseball.
Okay. Thanks for letting me be on, though.
Yeah,
I had fun. It was nice talking to all you folks.
In case you guys think I'm the only one that cares about baseball.
I appreciate you guys burying my son in various throwing objects.
Yeah, thanks for entertaining him by pelting me.
It does. It just makes me happy. All right. Well, I'm out. Go Cardinals, go Blues, go Blackhawks. Battlehawks.
Ha Blackhawks.
Battlehawks. Battlehawks.
About to get thrown out the state for that.
Yeah, I know. Throw me out of the union over shit like that. All right. Good night, all. Thanks for listening to my son.
Just lost.